Well, it's an exciting day down the plot today. We've got some decent weather back, and it's all growing. You can see there the potatoes absolutely shot up. They're going bananas, which is fantastic. So they're doing well. I've got some more in here, and you can see they're just starting to break through the surface, these ones. Just starting to come up, so that's absolutely fantastic. The mint is doing well. Now, these aren't quite as happy. Let's just take the duff. These are doing all right, but I think they're probably getting a bit hot under there. So this is these are 2 marrows down this end, and 2 courgettes down this side. So, but again, I think they're getting quite warm in here, to be fair. So that one looks like it's been eaten a bit, actually. But I think that's the biggest problem I'm facing on this site, is the sheer volume of slugs and snails. But it's looking good, Strawberries are looking good as well, and you can see there's an interloper here, a giant one. But these are going to need netting off very, very shortly. Everything I planted under here, let's have a look. This was all the seed tape. Remember I said I wasn't sure what it was going to do, if anything, and a lot of it's come up, which I'm actually really surprised at. This one here, whatever this was, hasn't germinated as well, same with that one, a couple more, but in general they're actually looking. Let's just lift up these last few. In general, they're not looking too bad. The downside is, though, I'm not 100% sure what's weeds and what isn't. I think these are weeds down there, but they're in a bit of a straight line, so I'm not really sure here, to be really fair with you. So let's have a look under this one here. Again, they're looking all right. I know these are weeds, so that's right. The rhubarb has gone bananas. Look at that, lovely long firm stalk. So can't wait to do something with that. But again, weeds and weeds and weeds. The weeds have loved the weather last few days. Hot weather followed by cold weather and rain, so they've had a field day. Everything over here seems to be doing all right, actually. I put these under the tunnel to protect them just in case, and you can see here I planted stuff, I interspersed the rows with seed tape, and again down there you can see them, it's coming up, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm really pleased with that. So I'm going to really maximise the usage of this space, because all these interspersed crops should be up and ready to pick before the brassicas here have taken over. Half the reason I put them under the tunnels was just to try and protect them from whatever it is here that seems to be eating it, and it does seem to work. There's a few nibbles, but like the crop I put in over winter, there's nowhere near as much damage as there was. The herb bed is doing fantastically. The thyme there hasn't particularly come back very well, but I put some shallots in here which are doing well. There's a rosemary there which is coming up nicely, parsley, marjoram and everything. So these I'm really pleased with these. They're looking fantastically. The onion and garlic, again, look at that, they're fantastic. They're growing really well, so I'm very pleased with that. This bed here is for the children, and we did some planting the other day. It's quite random planting, I will confess, but at the end of the day they're growing what they want to grow. So you've got carrots, various flowers, there's sunflowers to go in here, so there's all sorts of bits and pieces to be planted out and wait for them to come up, so they're very excited about that. Now I've brought up some of the sweet corn I've grown at home. Started it off in a polytunnel, a small greenhouse at home, and you can see it's come up quite nicely. It's looking quite good, and there's some Brussels sprouts next to it. So all that is going to get planted out today because it's getting too big to keep in those pots, and really needs to go in the ground so it can shoot up. Now this is a flower bed. Those are done fantastically. The black tulips, they've done really well. Again, what I've done here is I've scattered a load of flower seeds, and I've got a load of sweet peas there to plant out in a little while. But again, unfortunately in this one, I don't know what's weeds and what's not weeds. So I'm going to have to let this grow, and then obviously once it comes up and I'm able to better identify it, like for example, that's grass, obviously, that's mare's tail. Once I'm better able to identify what's weeds, I can obviously pull them all out and get rid of them. That's obviously a dandelion. The difficulty is because there's a lot of flower seeds in here, it's pulling them out without damaging anything. Now the big problem is this. Hopefully you can see that clearly. This is mare's tail. It is a nightmare. There's nothing nice to say about it. It grows everywhere. It's incredibly invasive, and it's almost impossible to get rid of. There's almost no way to get rid of this. You can try pesticides, glysulfate I think it is, may work, but you're going to have to pull the ends off, bruise the stem so that it actually gets into the system. These are, I believe they're prehistoric plants, and they are pretty much resistant to everything. Unfortunately, it's all over this plot. So all I can do is keep pulling it up, pulling the heads off, and hopefully eventually I'll get it under control. But looking across this, look, it's over there, it's all over there, so it's absolutely everywhere. It's in all the beds, absolutely everywhere I look. Over here on the runner beans, some of the runner beans have come up. You can see those, they're looking quite nice, but again there's more than enough mare's tail here. There's another piece right there in the middle, poking its head up above the soil. But what I have done is I brought some runner beans from home that I've started, so I'm going to put these around a couple of canes where I've not planted anything yet, and maybe put another couple of canes in for the rest of the plants. So those are really starting to come along nicely, which I'm dead pleased about. I've been hardening them off for the last few days, so they've been out during the day and just sort of getting used to the British weather. Down here we've got all these little seeds coming up in my bark. Now these I believe are from the trees above me, and there's plenty of them, so I've got to go around, pull these up, get rid of them all before they get established. If they get established, obviously they're going to be really difficult to dispose of. But the mare's tail I've got to try my best to dig out and get rid of, because I'm never going to get rid of it. The roots for this go down something like 6 feet apparently. So unless you're sort of hiring an excavator and digging out absolutely everything from your vegetable plot, you are not going to get rid of it. But what you can do is manage it, get it out as much of the roots as you can, keep pulling the tops off, and it just keeps it under control and stops it taking over, because it will literally spread everywhere. It's a nightmare. The weedy end here, this is just a nightmare, this end. As quick as I dig over any areas, it comes back, so I'm going to spray this again I think, and just try and keep it under control. The problem is this comfrey. Comfrey, when you snap the root, it just grows again. So if you break a root into 3 or 4 pieces when you're trying to pull it out, which is easily done by accident, you end up with 3 or 4 more comfrey plants. So they're horrible. They really are horrible. So I'm going to try and get rid of it as much as I can. You can see over here, there's loads and loads of it growing in that wild patch there. It's all over the site. So I'm going to have a constant fight on my hands there, I think. Here we have some carrots and some beetroot, again brought from home. I'm going to put that out over here and hopefully try and get those to grow whilst I'm here. The square foot garden is really sort of taking a break. Very little germinated the first time round, so what I'm going to do is try it again now, give it a weed over, I did find an red ant's nest over there, so I've had to put some powder down. I don't mind black ants, they're more than welcome on my allotment, but I draw the line at red ants. I have children that come down, and red ants will bite and sting, and I'm not having that. So they've been killed. There's obviously, I found half a dozen of these nests now, so I just keep taking them out whenever I can. Strawberries are going to need netting down. They're getting ready to produce strawberries, so if I don't net them, the birds are going to have them all. But if you remember a few weeks ago, these were all these little runners. I transplanted a load of them, and they've really grown into nice, healthy, strong plants. So I'm very excited about the possibilities there. And finally, this end again, this end's just going to be ignored for this year. I am going to stake out the blackberry because I want that as part of a fence there. Compost heaps are doing well. They really desperately need turning, so I'm going to have to bite the bullet and try and do that, but that's very, very difficult to do. But they're doing well, and might take longer to produce compost because I quite simply haven't got the strength to turn it without hurting myself, unfortunately. As I said, these beds all need uncovering, digging over. I've got to get my leeks into one bed. They're going to have to go into that one over there because all these beds had onions or members of the onion family in last year. So that bed there is going to be my leeks, which are about ready to plant out. So a lot of work to do. It's that busy time of year again. So I'm going to get on with it, and I will update you once I'm done and show you how things are progressing. So hopefully you're as busy as I am at your vegetable plant. I'm sure things are coming up nicely and starting to grow well where you are, and I really do hope to see or hear from you and hear how well things are growing for you. So I'll get on with some work, and I will update you in a few minutes and let you know how things are looking. Rain stopped play for a few days, so I've not had much chance to get down here. But summer seems to have come back, or at least spring, and for a few days we may well be graced with reasonable weather. So I thought I'd give you an update. The strawberry bed, if you remember, a couple of months ago, this was all planted with runners. Small plants I put in, taken from the path, like sort of this one over here. Look at it now. That's a strawberry bed I think I can be well and truly proud of. It's really, really come up very well. It needs netting next, so I'm not going to net it just yet. I just want to make sure the pollinators can get to the flowers. But it's another week or two, once the flowers start to die back, that all needs netting. I've got the netting, I've got my stapler, so I'm pretty much ready to go. I've started uncovering some of the beds as well. This one was covered, if you remember. I've dug it over, and you can see it's a decent quality soil, so I'm quite pleased with that. It's looking very, very good. Over here we've got some marrows and courgettes, or zucchini if you're American. These have been under these cloches, and I think they're getting a bit warm, because you can see the leaves are starting to yellow a little, particularly sort of on these ones. Now I put them under the cloches partly because there has still been a slight risk of frost, and partly to try and protect the things from slugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put some fleece over the top, just to protect them, and that will hopefully stop the yellowing. I'll give them good water today, and hopefully that will help. Now this bed here, this was where I planted the seed tape. You have to excuse me waving the camera around. Now I planted the seed tape, and you remember I wasn't sure whether the seed tape would do anything or not. I'll be really honest with you, I wasn't holding a lot of faith to it. But there you are. It's actually come up really, really nicely. I'm really pleased with it. I have labelled everything. The only trouble is I'm not entirely sure what is and what isn't weeds. Sort of, you know, like these. Are these weeds? I'm not entirely sure. I think they might be. Same with these down here. This should be lettuce, so that doesn't look very much like lettuce to me, so I suspect that's a weed. So I do need to sort those out, but that's come out really, really nicely. I'm pleasantly surprised actually. The seed tape wasn't cheap. I certainly wouldn't have bought it at full price, but it was worth a try, and I think it's done very, very well. Potatoes, the first ones I planted, they've gone absolutely crazy, so that I'm just going to space those out in a little bit. I think they're a bit too close together. Just want to make sure there's suitable air circulation. But the other ones, planted these not too long ago. They've popped their heads above the soil, and they're doing very nicely. I do have some more to put in, so I'm going to put those in the next sort of week or so. And I figure that if I can put some more in, then I'm going to have sort of a continued crop rather than have like 10 bags of potatoes all at once. Every sort of few weeks I'll have a bag of potatoes ready, so it's a bit easier for me. The plum trees, fantastic, really, really pleased with those, very, very pleased. So they're doing nicely, as is the mint in the pot there. That's come up particularly well, I think. The herb bed, I'm really pleased. Again, it's doing very well. I put some shallots down the back there, down the side. You can see the shallots there. I just put some down there because I had extra ones and nowhere to put them, so they got shoved there. But you can see the bay trees are doing well. The marjoram, the oregano, coriander. I think that really sort of wilted and looked terrible when I first planted it. I didn't think it was going to sort of pull through, but it has surprised me, and it's done very well. I've got these weeds everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So you can see I've got rosemary there is doing quite well, and over there's sort of some thyme that isn't doing as well, but that was planted last year, so I'm not sure about that. And the chives, very, very pleased with the chives. Now the apple trees that were going to form my living hedge, two of them, my living fence, two of them done very nicely, but the third one at the end there is dead. Let's just pop over there for a minute. The reason I know it's dead is when I scratch it, so that's brown, that should be green. If that was green, the tree would still be alive, but it's brown and the branches just snap very, very easily. So unfortunately this is not made it, so it's going to have to come up. Bit of a shame, but you know, 4 out of 5 survived, and they were all reduced, so I can't complain. This bed here I've uncovered. I've got some sweet corn in there, and then down the sides here are sweet peas, and the same down there, all sweet peas all along. This bed I've done, this is the children's bed, and you can see neatly planted in rows, and there's a box of stuff over there. But this is basically mainly flowers with peas, and I think there's some peas and a few other odds and ends in there. Basically nothing to do with me what's gone in here, it's all their choices, and you know, I thought I'd encourage them to grow, give them all my seeds and say you pick what you want to put in the ground, and they have done, and they planted it, which is absolutely fair enough. You know, it's an area for them, so it's not my position to tell them what they should grow, and they've done a really, really good job. Some of it you can just see is starting to come up now. I think that's marigolds, so really, really pleased with all that. And again, the flower bed over here, the tulips are dying back, the roses are doing okay, and the sweet peas. But the problem is because I've scattered seeds over this, all sorts of flower seeds, I don't really know which are which. So some of these are probably weeds, so I'm going to have to wait till they get a bit bigger until I know, and then I can sort it out. Onions and garlic, again, absolutely fantastic, really pleased with those. They're doing so well. Though this one, don't know what's happened here actually, I've just noticed that. Oh, this one here is, looks like it's been chewed on. But you can see the difference, garlic's on this end, onions here. Now you can see they're forming flower heads. All the flower heads need to come off, because otherwise the plant will put all its energy into the flower and no energy into the bulb, which is what we want. but you can see some of them, they're starting to swell up and starting to look quite nice. There's another one down there, so very pleased with those. The bed over there, you can see I've planted some leeks out in. This was covered, I've dug it over, beautiful soil, so I'll put some of my leeks in there. So let's see what those do. Now this is a square foot garden. Now you'll remember it was a bit of a disaster zone. I tried covering it with the sheets of glass, and that just sort of made the soil very mouldy and horrible basically. So what I've done is I've uncovered it, waited till it's got warmer, and replanted it. So I put lots of stuff in there. Got cucumbers right at the corner there, so I'm going to build a frame there with some netting or twine. That's going to support them. I've got some leeks in, there's peas, there's onions, obviously over there, carrots, radishes, all sorts of things in there. So I'm really quite looking forward to that and seeing how it comes up. So that's an exciting project. And of course the rhubarb. The rhubarb's doing very well, but it is producing these flower heads, and thank you very much to the person who suggested I remove them. I will go and find my secateurs in a moment, and I'll just snip those off. We've had a few stalks off them already this year. Really nice. I'm really enjoying those. And finally, the brassicas. Again, these have been, you can see these have been in cloches, and you can see that one there is very much starting to outgrow its close. So I suspect I'm going to have to remove those. But what I did here, if you remember, is I planted the vegetables, the brassicas, and then in between is other stuff, smaller veg. So quite excited about that too. But you can see that radishes are coming up, there's beetroot, all sorts in there. So you can see it's all doing very well. So really pleased with the progress, and I'm going to get on with a bit of work, and obviously I will update you very soon and let you know how it's all going. Let me know how your vegetables are growing, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.